and welcome to 5 at 5. In this week's special edition, we will investigate the most pressing scientific issues, including GM foods and alpine grazing. But tonight, we'll take a look at vaccinations. Since diseases such as measles and whooping cough have been nearly eradicated in Australia, conflicting views have arisen as to whether all Australian children should be vaccinated. This debate unravels a variety of views that are explored in tonight's interviews.
So, Sunflower, why did you strongly believe not to vaccinate your child?
Because we are spiritually connected to the earth and vaccinations disrupt the natural balance. Things like herbs and teas are so much better because they allow the earth to be in perfect harmony.
Were there any influences other than the risk of disease that affected your decision?
I know some parents who had their child vaccinated and they started swelling up and getting rashes, and my destiny does not need that. But you know what? There's also things like mercury and stuff like that in it, and I don't want her having any of that in her system.
Did you have any concerns at all prior to your decision?
Well, some say that vaccinations are a bother to keep up to date with, and I totally agree with them. Like, who can remember when to get jabbed all the time? But you know what? I don't want my destiny going through all that pain and suffering when I know it doesn't even work.
And what kind of information have you come across that suggests that?
Well, the Australian Vaccination Skeptics Network, of course, they've given me so much proof that vaccinations are a risk and that it doesn't even work. So I ain't giving any of that to my child.
So, Destiny, how has your schooling been without any vaccinations?
I'm sick most of the time, but Mum takes me to school anyway. She says that if all the other kids are vaccinated, then there isn't much risk in me spreading what I've got.
Did you fit in that school though?
No. All the other kids call me sicko or germs girl, just because I'm always sick. So I don't really have friends, but I play with my imaginary friends. Oh look, there's Jessie, my best friend, look!
How do you feel at the moment?
Sick. Always sick. It's like a constant circle. I get sick, then I get better, and then I just get sick again. But it's okay. Mum says it's just me building up my immunity.
Why did you feel it necessary to vaccinate your child?
Well, I didn't want to put my child through the unnecessary risk of being infected by the measles or whooping cough. I thought it would be better to be safe than sorry.
Were there any influences other than the risk of disease that affected your decision?
Well, this is extremely hard for me to talk about. But my niece, my sister's daughter, she died because she wasn't vaccinated and died of the measles. She was only 4 years old, and I watched her suffer every day. Our family we are still so devastated. And my husband and I, well, we've taken it upon ourselves to get our child vaccinated. It just really isn't worth the risk.
Did you have any concerns at all prior to choosing immunisations?
My husband and I were extremely concerned with how Nathaniel would react to the vaccinations. We'd heard many stories of children getting allergies and getting rashes after receiving them, but we were told about a lot of information and that helped us overcome it.
And what sort of information was that?
Well, we spoke to many different people who knew about vaccinations. At first, I read pamphlets that were at my local medical centre. Then I spoke to my maternity counsellor, who told me that vaccinations wouldn't only benefit Nathaniel, but also benefit the wider community. She then advised me to contact my GP and to speak to him further about vaccinations. Our GP told me that the risks involved are of a very, very low percentage, and that vaccinations are ultimately very safe. He also told me that vaccinations lower the risk of diseases and their severity. So that's when I knew that Nathaniel needed to be vaccinated.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah, for coming in and speaking to us. First of all, I'd like to ask you, how do vaccinations actually work?
They assist our bodies in producing antibodies without the dangers of contracting the disease. Once the vaccine is injected, the immune system will be resistant to the disease should it be contracted due to the memory cells that recognise the disease within our body.
Why should children be vaccinated?
By vaccinating children, it won't only benefit them, but also others around them. This concept, herd immunity, has had positive effects on communities, as statistics have shown that measles in Victoria has been completely eradicated. This is because the MMR vaccination provides 99% immunity against the measles infection.
Some people are concerned about the ingredients in vaccinations. Can you clear this up for us?
Well, vaccines have small amounts of these ingredients which are harmless to the human body. For example, the amount of mercury in them is so minimal that you would find more mercury in a tuna sandwich than in a vaccine.
What are the risks associated with vaccinations?
Well, the risks involved with vaccinations are usually very rare. However, they can be categorized as mild or severe. 1 per million can be affected by deafness, long-term seizures or permanent brain damage. However, most side effects that have been reported are mild, which include swelling or redness in the area, rashes or fevers. These usually subside within a few days though.
What are the risks associated with not being vaccinated?
Well, obviously those without...
Do you think enough information is being distributed to inform people about the risks?
Well, obviously those without vaccinations are at a high risk of contracting illnesses. Though aside from that, herd immunity would decrease, resulting in an increase of reported incidence of diseases. The spread of diseases would be a lot quicker as our immune systems would not be able to resist the infections naturally.
Do you think there is enough information being distributed about the risks and benefits of vaccinations?
I believe that there is sufficient information out there regarding vaccinations. However, many don't take advantage of what is at hand. Nowadays, information is at our fingertips, yet many people do not feel the need to seek it out, even though it's one of the most important things to do in order to understand the risks and benefits of the vaccine.
Thanks, Natasha. If you have any questions regarding vaccinations or would like to voice your opinion, please visit our Facebook page or send us an email at 5at5@yahoo.com. Tune in tomorrow night for a full investigation into alpine grazing. I'm Caitlin Hardy. Until then, good night.